Hey everybody, welcome to the Legends of 40k video series. Up on the block today is Eldrad Ulthran, Farseer of Ulthran. He's a special character Farseer. So let's jump right into it. He's 210 points. Weapon skill was a skill of 5, strength of 3, toughness of 4, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 1 attack base, leadership 10, no save. With the exception of toughness, this is the same exact profile as a standard Farseer. Eldrad has a better toughness. He's infantry, he's an individual, so he can include one of them. He has a shuriken pistol, staff of Ulthran, runes of warding, runes of witnessing, ghost helm, spirit stones, witchblade, and ruin armor, which gives him a 3+ invulnerability save, which is one better than standard Farseer ruin armor. He has all the Farseer psychic powers, which are Eldritch Storm, Fortune Guide, Doom, and Mind War. He's an independent character with divination; those are his special rules. And he counts as a Farseer for the purposes of including a Warlock unit, so that's nice. Now before I talk about Eldrad specifically in terms of special rules, I'm going to talk about the Farseer specific stuff that he has, which would be the Ghost Helm and all that. So the Ghost Helm lets him, if a Farseer suffers the perils of the warp attack, his Ghost Helm will prevent it on a d6 roll of 3+. So it's not an invuln save, you don't have to roll it twice, so that's very nice. Now don't quote me on this, I forget if the PDF for their errata and FAQ states it, but being that it's trying to prevent it, should you fail to prevent it, you can still roll your invuln save afterwards. That's how that's how I would say it would work if somebody asked me. I don't know if it says it for sure, but that's how I would do it if I was facing Eldrad or if I was playing Eldrad. But don't quote me on that specifically, because I don't remember if their errata FAQ says anything about that. Runes of Warding. All enemy psychic tests must be taken on a 3d6, suffering a perils of the warp attack on any roll of 12 or above. Pretty cool. The Runes of Witnessing allow the Farseer, well, pretty much the Farseer rolls 3d6 and discards the highest roll when taking a psychic test. You must use the lowest 2 rolls. Now this can make you roll double 1s. If you roll a 1, a 6, and a 1, you have to discard the 6. But its benefits far outweigh that one little detail. And Spirit Stones. A Farseer with Spirit Stones can use 2 psychic powers per turn. A Farseer cannot use the same psychic power twice in the same turn. So Eldrad has all of that, plus his own stuff. Staff of Ulthran. If Eldrad is not in an assault, it can allow Eldrad to use a 3rd psychic power per turn, which may be a psychic power he has already used that turn. That's pretty handy. And in combat, it always wounds in a roll of 2+ and ignores armor saves. Divination. After both sides have deployed at the start of a game, the Eldrad player may reposition D3+1 units in his army. No unit may be moved outside of its deployment zone. This is very handy if you go first, but also helps if you go second if you realize you misdeployed something like you deployed something wrong by accident. But you can definitely see how it helps when going first. You deploy, your opponent deploys usually in reaction to you or with a specific tactic or plan in mind, and then you can reposition certain things to help you out. So that's everything he has stat line, war gear, and rules wise. Now he's 210 points, and when you look at the basic Farseer profile, which has 55 points, you think, man, that's a big jump in points. It's not really. If you take the Farseer, upgrade it, and equip it to make it as close to Eldrad as possible, it comes out to being 195 points. So Eldrad being 210 points, not that much more expensive, giving you the staff and the better invuln save and the toughness boost, as well as the 5th psychic power, because a standard Farseer can only have 4. Now, I know what you're probably saying, what are you, dumb? Keep with the Fortress, not everybody's going to do that, I know, but I'm saying the ability to do that in relation to how much Eldrad costs, he's not that bad anymore. So, how do you use Eldrad? Well, you use him the same way you use any Farseer, and that is in a supportive role. This isn't the big, badass librarian that you see in the Space Marines. This isn't the big badass Chaos Sorcerer who's gonna have stuff that kills you. Farseers have 2 psychic powers that actually do damage. Eldritch Blast, or Storm, whatever, and Mind War. Mind War works in a weird way, and Eldritch Storm is okay. Really, the strength comes not from those. I mean, Mind War is pretty good, I'm not saying it's not, but the strength really comes from buffing the rest of their army and cursing the enemy. They have the ability to make you, if you're playing him, like this is your army, let your units reroll to wound against a specific enemy unit that he targeted. To let one of the squads that he targeted of yours to reroll any failed saves they make, or to reroll any failed rolls to hit in the shooting phase. Stuff like that is very nice. That can really make or break a shooting phase or an assault or something, or whatever. And that can really help. Like, for example, if you doom a squad of Mega Knobs, and then you have your Harlequins, or better yet, your Howling Banshees, assaulted, giving them fortune. Yeah, and actually don't give them fortune because they don't have an invuln save. That was the wrong one to say. But you can guide their shooting, or somebody else's shooting, into the Mega Knob squad, doom the Mega Knob squad, and then have the Howling Banshees assault it. Yeah, you know, the Eldar strength of 3 kind of hinders them in the assault phase a little bit, but the Howling Banshees full of power weapons is very delicious. So, you doom it, giving them a much better chance to hopefully wipe out that squad, depending how big your Howling Banshee squad is. Where previously, they may not have been able to because of their inability to wound a target of that toughness, or wound it as much. And they have 2 wounds, but let's say it's a 5-man Mega Knob squad, and you got a full Howling Banshee squad, and then you doom the Mega Knob squad. Well, maybe something can help there. That's just one brief example. The Fortune is very good. If you have them in cover, for example, let's say you have Dark Reapers in cover. Is it Dark Reapers? Is that what they're called? I think it is. But I'm forgetting terms. It's not good. But yes, Dark Reapers. Let's say that you have them in cover, and you fortune them, and all of a sudden a plasma blast template hits them. You got your cover save because they're in cover, and hopefully you roll well enough, and then anything that you fail, you may be able to re-roll for better. So you can see how it can really help. How the Farseer comes to his own that way. He's not like, if you're, let's say, you're a Space Marine player or a Chaos player, and you use Librarians or Sorcerers, the Farseer is not like that. And if you go in with that mentality, playing Eldar and playing with the Farseer and Eldrad, you're not going to do very well with them. So that's how I would use Eldrad, the same way I use the standard Farseers in a supportive role. If you're wondering how he makes his points back, he makes his points back by having your army kill the enemy better and surviving the enemy attacks better. The Eldrads and the Farseer's weakest phase is the assault phase. They have 1 attack base. Now he does have 2 close combat weapons, Eldrad, so he does have 2 attacks if you assault him. If he assaults, he has 3. And he does have a weapon that wounds on 2s that ignores armor, but really, that's not his strength. You should have him with the squad, either Warlock, Bodyguard type of thing, or with some other squad, depending on your army list and tactics. He shouldn't be by himself. He should be with the squad for that very purpose of not being that good in the assault phase. That being said, if he's with the squad and they assault or get assaulted, he will add a decent amount of a decent punch to it with them, with the ability to wound anything on a 2+ and ignore its armor. But I wouldn't rely on that. Now he does have a Witchblade, and the Witchblade is very nice against vehicles. It counts as strength 9 against vehicles. So if you're going to use him in the assault at all, I would highly suggest assaulting vehicles with him. In that case, put him with a squad of Warlocks, because all Warlocks have Witchblades. So that's a big old squad of destroy vehicles in close combat, especially considering you have your armor. Now, I wouldn't suggest throwing him up against walkers. Yes, I'll probably go first, or he would definitely go first. But that locks you in close combat if you don't destroy it. Yes, you get your invuln save, but it's a little bit riskier to assault a Dreadnought, for example, than it is to assault a Predator. But you could. I highly suggest assaulting things that won't lock you in close combat first, to take out that Predator, take out that Vindicator, maybe even take out that Land Raider if you're lucky, in the assault phase. Now, this requires you to be a bit more aggressive to get in there and close to the enemy like that, but depending on your playstyle, that can actually fit in pretty well, keeping him up and close with the squads you want to support. So that's one way you could use him if you want to be aggressive and assaulting. If you don't want to be aggressive and assaulting, then keeping in the back with your shooting squads and other squads that are going to countercharge is, in my opinion, the best way to go. Which is how you do any Farseer, in my opinion. So that's pretty much it for how his play style. In closing, I want to say I think he's a great model. I think even if you don't use Eldrad and you can use a Farseer, I highly recommend his model because it just looks really cool in my opinion. Also, Eldrad and other Farseers, if you upgrade them to have the runes, witnessing, and warding, and spirit stones like that, are pretty good at not shutting down enemy psychic lists, but really putting a hindrance on them. Like I've had my army where with a librarian in it, and I had to roll 3d6 my psychic powers, and and 12 or above is the Perils of the War, but I didn't want to take that risk that often. I used my psychic tests a lot less than what I normally would have done. So that can definitely help. One army that can work particularly well against is Tyranids. This new Tyranids, with having their powers that they have, I feel can really help with having a Farseer in your army or Eldrad in your army. So to help not shut them down, but really hopefully put the hurt on them. So that's pretty much it for Eldrad, Ulthran, Farseer of Ulthwi. A cool Farseer special character. And remember, Farseers are a very supportive type of HQ, and Eldrad is a very supportive type of special character. He in the realm of things being big and badass that are coming out now, every new codex that comes out seems to have like multiple special characters in there just gonna tear you apart by themselves. Not like kind of like a one-man army. And yes, they're point heavy, but they kind of have that kind of badassery to them. Eldrad kind of seems kind of subdued compared to that, but when you look at his potential and his ability to help out your entire army, I'd say he steps up to the plate as far as looking like a badass in his own right. That's just my opinion. Not meant for everyone. Even if you play Farseer, the Eldrad might not be meant for everyone, because if you play a Farseer very bare bones, Eldrad will be 2 points heavy for you. If you're not using Farseers when you play Eldar, which some people don't, not many, but some, then obviously Eldrad wouldn't be right for you. And it may not fit in the beginning. You may not be able to use them that great, especially if you're new to Eldar and you want to use a cool special character, which Eldrad is. You may not be able to use them very well if you're used to having an aggressive psychic, like a librarian or a sorcerer. So that's pretty much it. I say if you're a Farseer dependent or Farseer heavy type of army, give him a look-see. And I know he is of Ulthwi. You can always do a counts as model if you want to, which some people don't like, but if you play Ulthwi and you use Farseers, give him a look at. I know some people don't like special characters, but honestly I think they add a kind of a nice cool flair to the game, so check them out. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So until next time, take it easy.